Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Felix's channel, The Heart Center, and I am coming to you today just to deliver the energy report for September 2022. Wow, I can't believe it's September already. It's like that whole time thing is really playing a trick on us all at the moment, I think. There's so much confusion going on with how time is lapsing and speeding up or standing still or not even moving at all. It's been a trick that I've seen played on family members and friends who aren't necessarily aware of our realities per se. So yeah, it's been a very interesting, to say the least, month through August, and today is the 26th of August. I started receiving information for this on around the 12th. No, maybe before that, probably around the 7th or the 8th of August is when I've got my first set of information coming in relation to September and what's to come. Have some tea. I'm having a red bush tea today. It's one tea that I really love because of the musky flavor that comes with it. It's got no caffeine in it, so you can have it all times of the day, and it just tastes really good. If you want to have it with milk and sugar, you can. I have it just on its own. So yeah. Okay, so right. Immediately, I'm getting a very, very heavy pressure on my chest as well. As I sit to do this, and I really do feel through September we are going through massive healing integration periods following on from the Lionsgate. But just before we go into the energy report, I've got a couple of updates and a couple of kind of goings on of what I've been up to as well. The first thing is that in September, on the 3rd and 4th, I will be exhibiting at the Rosemary Douglas Mind, Body, Spirit event in Stockport. Me. Yeah, so I'm there all weekend on the 3rd and the 4th of September. And that is www.rosemarydouglas.com. You can find out all the information there. And then the last weekend of September on this eludes me, it's the 24th and the 25th, and it's the White Lights event, the Wellbeing and Yoga Festival. In central Manchester, I think. I can't be too sure, but I will link everything down below. But if you wish to come and see me, I'll be doing in-person sessions there, which I don't tend to do because I tend to work with people all over the world, so I'll do them over Zoom, which is just as effective, if not more intuitive, because I'm obviously in a different location from you. So yeah, so that is the 3rd and 4th, and then the 24th and 25th. I've just got to remember all of these because I've got quite a lot of different updates to do, so I'm going to mark them up my list along the way. And I have also got events coming up, one on the 10th of the 10th on my website. It's the 1010 Gateway, which I will be downloading a bit of information regarding that closer to the date, and the same for the equinox as well. So the equinox on the 21st of September. These two events will be at 6 p.m. and all the details will be released on my website ready for the sessions. They'll be at like 6 o'clock. All of my webinars are recorded, and they're all tailored specifically to the energies coming in on these days, and whatever spirit brings in as well, is how I usually roll with it. So yeah, okay. I also have the Expand program running on my website, which I think I'm now 24 weeks into it. No, I'm not 20. What the hell am I on about? No, I'm 17 weeks into it, because I've just recorded the 17th one. Yeah, and that one is designed to open you up, to clear you up, and to help you harness your highest expression, bring that into the present, and you can start kind of, let's say, going galactic, or whatever you want to call it, just to open you up more and start developing you in your own way. Okay. Oh yeah. So another thing is as well, I had a session with a really amazing healer called Indigo Angel, and I feel this deserves a shout because it was literally amazing. The results that I've seen afterwards. I had the J seals removed, and what it's done is it's opened up the level of consciousness that I can flow through my body, my own consciousness, to bring it all back in, but also it's opened me up to a whole new level of working ability, a whole new level of seeing, and depth and understanding into what it is that I'm kind of working towards. So I'm just giving a kind of a shout out there, but also a high recommendation from one healer to another. She's incredible. Go right for it. I will leave her link down below. I really, really recommend her. Okay. Right. So, right from Lionsgate, this was actually planned for quite a while, to go and stay with some friends in London, because I did a session a while back, and in this session, there were a lot of symbolisms that came up through this palace, and within the vision, it was linked through London, which turned out to be a location called Eltham Palace. So on this trip down to London, I went to stay with some good friends of mine, and I was working in the grids with them whilst I was down there. So the first location we were taken to was Pollard's Hill. Now Pollard's Hill is on a ley line in southwest London. Let me just think about this. So usually with grid work, I will kind of work through the astral fields to do clearing, but occasionally I do get sent to physical locations to kind of understand a little bit more, and I'm going to say anchor, work as like a kind of anchor point for light consciousness, to alleviate and shift density, but also to anchor the light codes in these specific locations. Now, many people do this already, and they do it unconsciously, and it's something that's very important to kind of be explored, because this type of work opens you up on a much more grander scale the more you kind of embody and understand and integrate this ability. It takes you into a whole new way of working, a new way of kind of being. So long story short, in a nutshell, Pollard's Hill was the first location we were taken to. Now on this hill, it's very interesting because there is subsidence on the hill. Now, The second day when we went back there was a huge crack in the hill. And it was in this crack, which would be called subsidence, was where I was seeing a stream of codes running through from the grids and down into the earth, and vice versa. It was more so it was going up out of the earth actually, but this very, very potent anchor point and grid point. So in this location, I'm gonna choose my words very carefully. In this location, in the vision, what I saw was many bloodlettings, and I saw a lot of trapped souls that were coming out to clear from this line where the energetics had been harvested of the young ones. And what I saw in this location was almost like an etheric temple. Now in this etheric temple, it was acting almost like a library or a resource, no, like an archive for it was like a memory archive, if you will. So it's quite unusual because I haven't really said these kind of things out loud, so I'm just going to go with it and see where we go with this. So yeah, this archive was storing a lot of trauma that had been placed on these lands. So when I was there with 5 of my other friends, grid workers, that we went to this hill, and immediately we'd actually just went up there to visit, but as we all came into formation, then the vision started to come in, and I could see all of these things starting to shift and occur, the release of the entrapment, and the opening of new flows of energy, and the opening of flows running into London. So that was day 1 of the grid work in London, Pollard's Hill. The second day, just to go back onto Pollard's Hill, actually, what I also saw there was a complete restructuring of the land, and how it's kind of coming back into a state of healing, a state of harmony, which obviously these places need regular updates to be tuned into. I'm getting extremely hot as we're talking about this, and I can feel a heavy amount of deep pain through my heart as we're talking about this. So obviously more things need to be done, but it's kind of a reminder of what was really going on there. So yeah, I was seeing like a lot of upgrades being done to this space, and an update to, I'd like to say, to the divine light architecture as well, because I was seeing new structures being built there. But the primary, I feel, which we'll get into very shortly, is the first set of unlocks to this location for these positive flows of frequency when moving into London. So bearing in mind, this is in the southwest. The second location was called Eltham Palace, and this was on day 2. So Eltham Palace is very interesting because Henry VIII was a child and he grew up there. Well, of course he was a child. When Henry VIII was a child, he grew up in this house, in this palace. Now, my good friend Veronica, she told me the story, and I've forgotten all of it now. So don't blame me. Essentially, the palace was destroyed and then taken over at a later date, I think through the 1900s, by a Romanian Italian woman and a man who invented nylon. They rebuilt the palace to a modern Art Deco style, keeping the old original barn as a great dining hall at its original state. And the lands were gorgeous. It was really beautiful. But they restored this building into a proper palace where it was state of the art at the time, and they used to host parties for the elites, for the can't remember what she said now. For the celebrities, the movie stars, for the politicians. There seems to be a bit of a theme rolling here. And this was a very secured location where people couldn't get in with ease. So yeah, it was a very, very secure location for the elites. So as I was in this palace, oh, just a little side note as well. They also invented, I believe they invented nylon, she told me, something like that, which then took out a lot of the suppliers for making underwear and stuff like that during this location. So it was very, very interesting. In this palace, there was a very, very dense presence. It was very heavy, quite uncomfortable to be in. As I was walking through the palace, I was seeing children running up and down the stairs. I was hearing them, and there was shifts of energy from dread to is that I can just see them now all sat around the dinner table. Elitism and contempt. Now it gets more interesting here because as we were going through one of the rooms, Veronica picked up on a note that one of the rooms was wallpapered and stripped off to have the locations of the world, like a map of the world, presented underneath it. Now, shortly after this man and woman had left the house, there was the army that came in and lived there afterwards. So it's funny, like, how this family invented nylon, which was the big trend of the 1940s. It was cheap to make, from what I understand, I think, from history of fashion. It was almost as if that they knew of the war before having it happen, because they moved out, I think they moved out in 1944 or something like that, in 1943, possibly 1942. But all through this location and all through this house, it was very, very dark. It was very malice. And as I was walking around the gardens, I was seeing tentacles coming out of the ground. I can physically feel on my heart now pain, physical pain, as I'm talking about this, and I can just see how intertwined this was into the grids. Now it's funny because as I was clearing through this location, when we were coming away from the grounds, everything got 1,000 times lighter within about 5 minutes worth of walk. So it was quite a strange place. But when that tentacle, the main tentacle, was coming out of the ground, was released, there were more flows of frequency moving through the lands and moving into the city of London, moving into the actual town. So that was quite interesting to see how all of this kind of filters together, where we can kind of see a bit of a theme going on here. There seems to be blocks of flow of life force into the center of London. So yeah, moving on to day 3, I think it was day 3. When we came into the center of London, the first place we were taken to was the Westminster Cathedral. Which I thought was it was a lovely cathedral. It was really nice. However, what I was seeing underneath it, energetically, was not, with chains and locks to and from the Vatican to these flows. I was seeing some pretty sinister tunnels, checkerboard mutations, which will be the black and white squares that I see in the grids. So yeah, there was a lot of nasty stuff going on there, and I was seeing all of these different things release. And then that took us to the Westminster Abbey, which was, quite frankly, hard to breathe in. So going round this location, what I was shown at this place was almost like a big iron seal that was sitting underneath the place. Now, not only that, when I was outside it, there's this huge monument that is connected up out of the ground with a statue on the top of it of a man killing something, whether it's a demon or whether it's a person. I'm not entirely sure because I couldn't see that far up and I didn't have my glasses. So so yeah, that was what was on top. But what I was seeing coming from that, I was seeing arcs building to these different locations. Now we're in the location where Parliament is just around the corner. There is Big Ben, there is the Royal Opera House. I think it's the Royal Opera House anyway. And there was this Westminster Abbey where the Queen was coronated and this, that, and the other. So yeah, all of these different things were located there. And then energetically, what I was seeing underneath was this massive seal, multiple tunnels. And as I was walking around this abbey, I was getting waves of nauseousness, waves of pressure coming into my head that was almost feeling like a clamp. And there were multiple occultic symbolisms, looking into like the Black nobility, looking into the Templar orders, or whatever they're called, the Knights Templar. Many of these secret society things were coming up through this palace. Even the black and white checkerboard mutations were in physical, in the area where Oliver Cromwell was buried. So that was something. But essentially, when I was there, the lock and cage underneath it, I saw it release. And as it did, it was like the connection, like the floods of life force energy coming in were connecting through into the center point of this, and it was almost like it was able to navigate a little bit more and open in that location. So I thought that was quite interesting. I'm also starting to feel now that I might have to go and do South East London, North, these different locations, because it wasn't, I think it was November last year that I was down there in Kensington Palace and having to work through those locations as well with my friend in Canada as she was remoting in. So yeah, that was all very interesting, and just seeing the developments through the field as these kind of new life forces, or not new life forces, but the reconnection of life force was able to flow through these locations. And my body actually feels like it's clearing at the moment as I'm talking about this. I'm getting incredibly hot, and the lower parts of my body are really opening. So yeah, I feel this is accurate. I need to kind of look back in and just see how they're developing as well. So yeah, so that was the first couple of locations of grid work in London, just gone after Lionsgate. Now the next one, this place was sinister. I can tell you that now. So near Trafalgar Square, there's a place called St. Martin's in the Fields. I will put photographs of this up because it is literally insane. What was outside the front was a monument. You know what, let me just get my phone. There was a monument, and it was like half an obelisk that had been chopped in half. Now, talk about anti-life. This was just disgusting. There's a chopped in half monument, concrete monument with a baby embroiled in the concrete with the umbilical cord attached. And it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh and lived among us. Now, this is taken from St. John 1:14. However, I looked at it and these words have been distorted. And the Word became flesh, the Word became God, it should have been, according to the King James Bible. So I thought that was very, very interesting how this has been so completely distorted, and almost it felt like it had taken away the sacred nature of the text. Now, I'm not a big one for reading the Bible or anything like that. These were just my observations within these locations. Now, the next thing I found was actually quite disturbing. As you go into the chapel, or whatever it is, it's church or something like that, the first thing you see as you walk through is this stained glass window that had been warped and meshed to look like a wormhole crucifix. So I will, like I said, I will post an image of this. However, what I feel this is a representation of, I feel like it's a wormhole through, obviously an etheric wormhole through the grids, that is kind of sucking the life out of the land into something more malevolent. So I do feel like it's important just to kind of pay attention to these things. As I was walking through the place, there was no religious iconography like you would do in a normal church or cathedral. It was very, very, it felt like a void. I'm just going to say it like that. It felt like a void. There was nothing there. There was no life force. There was no high vibe. It was anti-life. So I'm wondering, after I spoke with Indigo Angel about this, because she's a master at the grids as well, And she's also thinking, okay, so what about the other places? How many other places have this kind of technology that's running through these locations? Because that is exactly what it felt like and exactly how it was kind of presenting energetically as well. It was not nice. So I think I'm going to remote in again and just have a look at that place and see how it's all kind of working, and shut it down, basically. So yeah, that was some interesting tidbits from London. Now the final place. Now this was just lovely. After all of that, my friend took me to this bookshop called Watkins Books. I'm going to give you the address because it was literally incredible. Watkins, you can go to the website www.watkinsbooks.com, or it's 19 to 21 Cecil Court in London, WC2N 4EZ. Now, this is an esoteric bookshop, and as soon as I got in there, my body started to tingle and feel really nice. And I felt to go downstairs in it. So I went downstairs. As soon as I got in there, I had to sit down because my body went so tingly all over, and I started to convulse, receiving a very, very, very profound healing through this location. Now, when I was in there, I spoke to the person who ran it, and asked about like whether it sits on a ley line or something like that. This place sits on multiple ley lines, and it's very, very well charged. It feels amazing. So if you do get chance and you're into all the ley lines and things like that, or into grid work or into magical books or whatever, go and check that place out. It is wonderful. I got this book. I don't know why I bought it, because I don't tend to read books, but yeah, I've got it. So yeah, that being said, there's a whole lot to unpack there, and I'm still trying to understand it because it's been one thing after another afterwards with London. So to jump straight into the energy report for September 2022, I was asking about these themes, and the first thing that came up was introspection, rejuvenation periods, and a real deep focus on self-care, self-love, and healing. Okay, so because we've gone through such high volumes of light through Lionsgate, we're really kind of left with a whole new set of areas that we're then to look at to do our healing, and to kind of integrate and understand. So I broke it down to really kind of understand what is going through in August. So yeah, so this first thing we'll look at is just the introspection side of things. Now, as we've gone through all of this really, really deep cleansing and deep healing, deep activating, sorry, with this light influx from Lionsgate, we're then having to take the time to work through many difficulties that have come up post. You know, sometimes when we've been experiencing this really high volume of light, we can also go into almost like states of depression or like a spiritual depression to kind of integrate it and understand it. It's like, oh my God, I felt so great last week, but this now I just feel like I'm back in the slump of things. But what we can actually do with that is to reframe the way we're looking at things and see it as we're going back into the shadow, to understand and to integrate and to really explore all of these new areas that we have to kind of understand and raise up into the light. Yeah, so understanding and integrating the self through the world, an integration of self and world through self-study, reflection of world current events through the self-mirrored reflection. So what are we seeing in our worlds? What are we tuning into? What kind of people are coming towards us and what are they showing us? This whole idea of mirrors, these sacred mirrors, is really, really big through September. So it's how can we kind of, what are we seeing in ourselves in others, and how can we transform it into the light? Okay. Another real big topic I found coming in is this idea of being a dragon rider. So I'm seeing, or I was seeing, a lot of people riding on the backs of dragons. But I'm also seeing some people sitting on the tails of dragons and being flicked around, and some people are halfway up. And with this, what I felt and what I saw was how people were climbing from the tail up to the head of the dragon. So I feel like through September, it's people are really kind of becoming empowered and understanding how to navigate their current situations, how to navigate their spiritual experience or this worldly experience of planet Earth, I suppose. So it's a step up to control in their own lives, I suppose. So yeah, the people on the tails of the dragons, I am seeing them moving up. I even went to a circle last night, and most people I was working with, I was seeing them going through upgrades and going through development over the next month, sometimes over the next 3 months, but primarily the main work is happening through September. So yeah, that actually takes me into my point 4. Deep healings and upgrades are coming through September. To updates to like the light body fields, I'm seeing the Merkaba field structure into a different kind of formation, upgrades to geometry, and harmonizing towards the equinox. So yeah, there's quite a lot of healing going on there. Right. Okay, so another point, the next point would be I'm finding that many have been going through quite deep rebirths and quite intense rebirths. And I feel these are kind of either intensifying for some people, but also like when the baby starts to crawl, gradually it begins to find its feet and is able to stand up. And I feel like through a lot of these kind of situations, it does knock you for 6 quite a lot, wherein which that you kind of don't really know how to do. It's like having to grow up all over again. So if I was to refer back to my spiritual awakening, rebirth, oh my God, that was an experience in and of itself. And it was essentially like I had to kind of learn from the birth how to sit up, how to crawl, how to take the first steps, how to feed myself, how to nourish myself, how to love myself. All of these things had to kind of come back around so I could walk forwards and step into what I'm doing today. Now, I feel for many people, this is what they're going through. Take it as a dark night of the soul, which I don't necessarily think it is with the odd audience that I'm working with. There will be for some, but primarily it's like another real deep rebirth to the point of getting up and starting to walk again and moving into learning and into growth, into the next stages of their lives. So yeah, this all is all kind of part and parcel with understanding oneself and knowing thyself as well. So it's like we're becoming more attuned to understanding divine attributes, skill sets, knowing ourselves as a primary, but this time taking that empowerment and aligning that into what it is that you are to do in this life, into your diamond expression, if you will. So it's a journey of both understanding but also self-reflection and seeing how you can evolve forwards into this new state of being. Now, that being said, this self-reflection thing is quite a strong topic as well, because what I've been noticing more and more as a theme that's coming up is the sacral clearing, the sacral healing. And I was doing one today quite unexpectedly, actually, because I was just doing my affirmations and I just so happened to slip into meditation quite instantaneously, and then it all started to come flooding out. But this has been going on for quite a while now, but this is when it really kind of came through to me, was this morning, was this sacral chakra clearing. And it's a release of every personality. It was actually more like a reintegration of every personality that we've created to please another person, to handle a specific situation that was a little bit traumatic. You know, we create these personalities to fit other people's agendas. We move out of our authenticity to please someone else. Now, I really do feel this month coming is a massive reclamation of our authenticity. And just to say, hold up, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. No chance, no way. I love you, but no. So I find that very interesting and quite apt as to how this is all coming together, particularly through Virgo season. The Virgo season is more so akin to self-care, looking after oneself, touches of perfectionism, but you know, it's tidying up those rough edges. It's trimming the frayed edges off the hem of a skirt. The only reference I can think of right now, to tidy up and get ready to bond and hem. Right, and we do this not so much to, well, in this case, we're doing it so those frayed edges don't start pulling away. We tidy them up and then we hem them so we can not allow more damage to get in, I'm gonna say, yeah. Crush mass ma yeah. So if you think of all these old personalities are the frayed edges, or the bit that's dragging along the floor, that's in tattered ruin, we are taking off those old personalities. This is probably quite a bad analogy now. Taking off those frayed edges so we can then reintegrate all the good parts of ourselves and let go of the old. Coming back into a unified piece that's harmonious and flows and is not holding degradation and damage. Okay. Right, okay. I feel that's good. Yeah. So as we look forwards towards this more health and healing month of September, what I'm feeling with this as well and seeing is more people returning to the earth. That sounds out of this world, but you know, coming back to that earth connection, bare feet on the grass, and really embracing the earth frequency from a very, very high vibing summer. When we've been all over the place with Lionsgate, now I feel everything is coming back and grounding into September. So I feel very much inspired by yoga, caring for the body, and being tendful to one's energy and one's protection. So yeah, it's a month for real self-care, I think. Now, as we go through these kind of real deep healing points in September as well, I think it's also important just to kind of maintain with that grounding topic, and just to refer to the idea of not getting pulled into the whirlwind of emotion that can come with this. You know, staying as the neutral observer, observing the emotions as they rise, seeing them come up, and then letting them go, so you can remain in your sovereignty and remain in your integrity without being reactive, without being a blubbering mess on the floor. I know I'm guilty of that sometimes. So yeah, a real kind of focus on not being too absorbed by the emotions, letting it flow, letting it come in and letting it flow out, not holding attachment to it, and just being grounded in the presence of it at the same time. Okay, so that's what I've got for September. It's quite a long video so far. I will look forward to seeing you at the events, and if I do see you at the Rosemary Douglas event on the 3rd and the 4th, or the 24th, 25th in Manchester White Lights event, that would be really lovely to catch up. I'm actually doing talks on both days, Saturday and Sunday, for both events. So that would be really nice just to kind of connect with you there. I never really know what I'm going to talk about. I've got set topics, but last time I went in with a set topic, I ended up talking about the fall of Atlantis and the pillaging, let's say, with the R word as well at the start, R-A-P with an E, of Lemuria. So, you know, I can never really plan these things because it's just dependent on what needs to come through as highest activation for you to understand at that time, which then triggers cellular memory for you to start remembering these attributes about yourself, these lives. So yeah, okay. And then again, I've also, just a reminder again, I've got the events on the 10th of September, no, the 9th of September, sorry. Not the 10th, the 9th of September, 9th of the 9th, and then the 21st, the equinox, on September 21st. Okay. So just now to round up, we can do a short meditation and just get yourselves nice and comfortable. Place your palms facing up in your lap, symbol for receiving. Going ahead and taking a deep breath in, breathing in a spiral of aqua light coming down from the great central sun. Connecting through the body. Touching into every cell, every component. And connecting into the earth, to the diamond core of the earth. I'm going to go ahead and connect a pillar of light from the diamond core to the great central sun. Dissolving out all grey tone. Illuminating with platinum, white diamond light. Some of you may be getting very hot at the moment as we stream this potent light through the vertical column. opening through your wings. Releasing out harvesting tubes from the back of the head, the back of the heart, the front of the sacral that look like mechanical, like a vacuum tube with a clamp on one end that's attaching into the body. Just going to go ahead and pull those out. And collapse them down, placing them into the fire at the core of the earth. Some of you may feel pressure releasing at the back side of the body. I can see the caduceus on the left side in light and the right side in anti-life, black and red. And we're just going to go ahead and extend that light into the right side of the black and red. So from the light on the left, moving it into the right. Harmonizing to an integral attribute. Sarasmiatara atiagora, saati nam nama ahia turushusus ponoi niresni akiresneya. Tamrasna akiamna ma ate piarashusus mo otopurushusus no oki nine ishiatrases ma atrasna ayapupoya. Satresnia maya ati nashno otrushusus ponoi mokara. I'm just seeing that blood red tone turn to gold. And the black turn to white diamond. Bringing up the emerald flame from the core of the earth into your heart. As your heart beats with hers, the flame intensifies, spins through the heart chakra, moving into all wounds, feeling heat coming through the body, releasing persecution. I can just see a pink rose being placed into the heart. With a golden geometry spinning, a golden hexahedron spinning through the heart center, and a golden mandala, and in the center of this golden hexahedron spinning is this rose. And as this all spins, I see the emerald tones build through the background from a mandala, raising through all levels of blackness. And I've seen a beautiful blue sapphire tone building through any areas of black left. With yellow spheres. Spinning through the background, thousands of them. I almost feel akin to like a cleansing of the planet Saturn. And as they spin, I can see this grey structure beginning to shake and appear through these backgrounds. Releasing anxieties, releasing fear. Opening through the tree of life. As the tree of life now presents as a white diamond light. And it has got orange and red leaves coming back into full color complexions. surrendering to release. Beautiful platinum light moving through the tree. Violet and indigo flowers growing at the grass. Moving into crystal vibrancy. And take a deep breath in, feeling wonderful, light and refreshed. I'm going to update to all of your fields and update to your localized grids. Sealing forward now through all levels, all layers of light. Sealing forward through and through. And go ahead and take a deep breath. 1444. Closing down service, sequence, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to thank you all so much for staying for this long. I've got to run now because I've got a driving lesson. So I will love you all for the month, and I will see you at these dates. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely month. All my love. Bye.